At the end of the day, I don't care if I sell something to someone for £300 and the following day they sell it for £600. I don't care, it's theirs. It doesn't make any difference to me. I've got what I wanted for it. Out of this whole collection, that one sale really did piss me off. Anyway, what's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today's video we are finally looking at that massive Tamiya collection I got last year. I put a little poll out a few weeks ago and 1,300 of you voted and 82% of you want this video. So for those of you that are relatively new to the channel that don't know or have not seen it, I think it was February last year, it might have been January last year, I bought a massive collection of mainly Tamiyas. There was, I think in the end, there was about 33 cars all in all. Huge collection, and we'll get on to the story of how I got them first, but stick around, and what I'm going to go over is how much I paid for the whole lot, and then we'll go through as many of the cars as I can remember, because I've sold quite a bit. I've sold probably about 80% or maybe a little bit less. We'll go through each car and I'll try and remember. I've written some figures down. I'll try and remember what I sold them for, and then we'll total it up at the end to see how much I bought it for, how much I sold it all for, what I've still got left now, and what plans I've got for the stuff I've kept. Before we go into the facts and figures, I'm just going to show you just a quick breeze over the start of this video that I made last year. Just listen to what I said about that Toyota Hilux. I did sell it, we'll get on to that. I'll talk about that one first, but I just want to show you the start of this video so you can have a bit of a look at what I got within this collection. So it's not only what's on the workbench here, we've got some stuff over there, got some boxes there, there's stuff in them boxes, there's some spares, there's a load of stuff under there, transmitters and some other bits and pieces. There's one there, there's two new kits there, and also a load of stuff there as well. So I'm going to spend the next 15 to 20 minutes now, unless the apocalypse happens and I need to sell up to buy tins of beans and toilet roll. This thing is going nowhere. So as you can see, there was a lot of stuff there. Like I said, 30 odd cars, mainly Tamiyas. There was a few Kyoshos. There was a team associated RC10, like a re-release, but of the gold pan. There was another one in there, like the factory team. Is it RC something? I can't remember what it was. There was a few new ones as well and stuff like that. So let's start with the story of how I got this collection. So back in January last year, I think it was January, some of you might remember this. If you're on the Vintage Tamiya and other RC group on Facebook, you may remember this. Someone started posting loads and loads of pretty rare Tamiyas, and there's a few others. Like there was I think the Turbo Scorpion from Kyosho and the Beetle, like boxed ones. It was the Lamborghini, the Porsche from Tamiya that got listed. But the problem was, the listing said DM me or PM me for prices. Not very good pictures either, some random pictures. Now we all know what happens when you put stuff on Facebook. If you don't put a price, if you put crap pictures, and you just ask people to DM you, you're going to get bombarded with people lowballing you.
No, come on, do it properly. What? Haggle properly. This isn't worth 19. You just said it was worth 20. Oh dear, oh dear. Come on, haggle. All right, I'll give you 10. That's more like it. 10? Are you trying to insult me?
You're going to get bombarded with people asking for more information. You're going to get bombarded with people asking you for more pictures and lots of other stuff. Now, I saw this listed. I was actually only interested in the Turbo Scorpion. So I messaged the guy, and he didn't get back to me straight away. And then I looked, and he was listing even more stuff. And he was just down the road. He was about 40 minutes from me. So I threw him a lowball offer for the whole lot. I said, will you sell the whole collection? He said, send me an offer. I sent him an offer of £2,500, £2,500, which is just $3,500 or something like that. And he came straight back saying, no, that is way too low. So I then sent him an offer of £3,000 and then left it at that. And he said, some of them I'm being offered £400 for. So I just left it at that. I said, that's fair enough, 3,000 is my offer and I appreciate they're worth more, but to take the whole lot, that's it. And I left it. About a day or two later, I then got a message back from him. He was having a bit of a rant about all the crap messages and all the PMs he'd got and all the crap he got off listing it, which it was going to happen. And he said he would take £3,000 for it. I don't need to really go on about the story anymore because I could do a whole video on just the story. But anyway, £3,000. So I went up to collect. I went up to look at it initially before I paid him. Went up to look at it, and he actually ended up showing me more stuff. And it turned out there was 30 odd cars. He showed me some other stuff that wasn't on there, which added up to that 30 odd cars. And he said you can have the rest of this as well for an extra £400. Now, in that extra stuff he showed me was the Herbero like rally car thing, the two little nitro rascals, and there was loads of other stuff. There was about like £1,500 worth of stuff in this. So I took the whole lot for £3,400, which is about $4,500. So there you go, that's how much I paid for that whole collection. If you only come to this video to find out what I paid for the whole collection, it was £3,400 for 33 RC cars, mainly vintage Tamiyas. Let's go in at the Hilux. Now, as you saw at the start, I said never getting rid of it, or I wouldn't get rid of it unless I had to buy beans and stuff like that. I spent weeks trying to fix it, and I couldn't get it running stock, so I put modern electronics in it, put modern ESC, some new servos for the linkage and the steering, put some foam in the tyres as well, sort of semi-glued the tyres on, and then I took it out and I made a video over the quarry. It was good fun. I really enjoyed making that video. The video I think came out really well. The problem with that Hilux is, back in the day it was really good, and the engineering behind it is really good, but suspension's rubbish, steering's rubbish, and because it wasn't running stock, it just didn't have the same feel for me as if you had a stock one with a stick controller. And those that watch the channel, those that know what my thoughts are on RC cars sat on a shelf doing nothing, it's not for me. Well, I've got loads of RC cars sat on shelves, although they're doing nothing at the moment, but I run them all, or I'm modifying them all, or I'm doing stuff with them. That Hilux, after I finished, I put it on the shelf. It just sat there. I broke the steering linkage and I couldn't find a new linkage, and it sat on the shelf, and every time I came in here I kept looking at it, and I know how desirable they are, so I did actually sell it. I did let it go to an enthusiast, and I didn't sell it for a lot either. That I could have probably got £700 or more, which is about $900, but I sold it for 500 or 500, and it's on my list. Where's my list? £575 I sold it for, so I let that go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up here, now you know what I paid for the collection, up here, every time I talk about what I sold something for, we'll stick it up here, and then we can have a look at the end of the total of how much I've got rid of, because I have sold 80% of it, I think I've sold. So that's the Hilux. I'm going to run through the video and I'll talk about stuff as we go through. The WR8, what an awesome car. This, I've kept this, and this is definitely one I'm keeping. I've done loads of videos on this. It's probably one of the best rally cars out there. It's absolutely awesome. So I've kept that. I've also kept, it came with a spare body. The spare bodies are worth a fortune. They're usually out of stock if you try and find one of the newer ones. The spare one that come with it was 2015. So WR8, not going anywhere. The Herbero Hyper Gt, I didn't run this at all. It was brand new in box. Even the transmitter was still in the bubble wrap, and I sold that for £310. Extra bit I got for 400 included two of these Schumacher rascals. There's a used one in there, and then the other box, brand new, never touched, although it did have a set of alloy wheels, which are really rare. I think they cost, the receipt for the wheels was in there, and it cost about like £100 or something like that. Anyway, sold the brand new rascal for £210. I kept the other one. I made maybe one video of the other one, ran it, and then recently I got rid of that. I think I sold that for 150 for the used one. Pretty sought after. I'm not into nitro. In the collection were 3 XBs. There was the XB 911, there was an XB Honda City Turbo, and there was an XB Zack Speed Capri. I've kept the Capri. I've done a few videos on that, testing some motors on that. I've already got a Honda City Turbo, so I got rid of that for about £200. Sold the Porsche, new in box, £180. That was probably a bit of a bargain for someone. I'd love to get some out on the table for you, but most of them are boxed up in my storage unit because I'm moving soon and I've been boxing stuff up, and all the old stuff, all my projects are the first to be boxed up and put away if I'm not going to be using them for a while. But we may get them out again in the summer. Anyway, Turbo Scorpion, there was a brand new Turbo Scorpion in the collection, and there was a brand new Beetle in the collection. Initially I was going to keep them both. I built the Turbo Scorpion, and then I decided with the Beetle that They've re-released them now. The one I had the Goodyear branded tyres, which was one of the first releases, so I think I sold that in the end. I think I sold it for about the same price as the re-releases are, or maybe about £10 more, so about £260 I sold that for. But I kept the Turbo Scorpion. It's got a really cool brushless setup. I've been on the beach, awesome video, you should check that out. Rsr Porsche 959. This is, even though when it came out it was only about £189, it is pretty rare. They only made it for a little while and it's really rare, so they sell pretty good. Again, brand new, in box, not used. There was no way I could get all this new stuff out of the box and then just run it a few times and get it dirty, trash it, or potentially break it, and then obviously the value of it's going to drop massively. So some of the new stuff, like this for instance, even though it's an awesome car and pretty desirable, I had to get rid of it because it would have just sat in the box and I wouldn't have wanted to use it. And I sold that for £295. All these prices, some of them include postage, some of them don't include postage. I've not taken any fees off, so this is just a rough estimate of how much I got for it all. The Zaxby Capri, the Jägermeister one, kept it, not going anywhere. It needs rebuilding actually. I think I destroyed the spur when I was doing some tests on it, so I'm going to put full bearings on it, full rebuild of that. There was 2 hot shots in the collection. There was the Tamtech mini one, which is pretty rare, and there was the Riri hot shot. Done a video of the hot shot, I gave that a bit of a rebuild, done a video of it and sold that. Sold that for £145. I was going to do a brushless conversion of the little Tamtech, but in the end I sold that as well because I thought it was just going to sit there, probably pretty rare, pretty sought after. Moved that onto a collector, got £100 for that, or £110. I think I got £100 for that. Probably could have got a bit more for some of these, but I was just shifting them on and doing some deals with people. Some people bought a few as a deal as well. The little Tamtech Rsr Porsche, this came boxed, it had been built, it hadn't really been painted all that well, there was a few issues with it. I gave it a quick run, it was good fun, but I was initially going to keep it, stick it on the shelf, moved that one on as well. But a nice RC, really nice. And there was a Traxxas in the collection. This is a Fortec 3.3. Pretty rare. The body on this is awesome body. I've still got the body, I've still got the Fortec. It's in bits. There's a reason it's in bits. I was rebuilding it, I got it running. It had been run about 2 or 3 times by the looks of it. But I got it running. I was testing it out the front of the house without a body on it. Nailed the throttle. It's a 2-speed.
2-speed, baby!
Engaged second gear and then shot off underneath my car, and the top of the engine caught on the subframe of my car and snapped the block. I've still got it. I'm going to rebuild it, or I'm going to convert it to brushless, but I've still got that Fortec. I've definitely still got that body because it's awesome. Subaru Brat, this is a Riri Brat. I sold this really cheap. I think I sold it for £70 or £75, and then when the guy received it, the bumper broke, so I then refunded him about £15 to get a new bumper. So in the end I think I got about £50 for this, but it went to an enthusiast. That's the important bit. Holiday buggy, gave this a quick rebuild or a quick service, greased it up, made a video on it. The video done really well actually. Used the stick control, absolute pain in the ass to record, but done a video of the holiday buggy, really good RC. But again, made my video, it would have just sat on the shelf, so we got rid of that. I think I sold that relatively cheap for an original anyway, about £100 I think. Team Associated RC10 Gold Pan re-release. These are re-released, I think, I want to say 2012. It might not have been, it might have been a bit later than that. Again, very desirable. This is a brand new kit built. The body wasn't done very well, but the rest of it was fine. And ahed what to do with it. Again, brand new. I'd have run it 2 or 3 times, probably broken something or trashed it, scratched the chassis. So I moved that on. I got £315. Some were selling for more than that. I think I saw a couple have sold for £380, but yeah, £315 I sold that one for. That was a nice buggy. The Ford Ranger, that thing, one of my all-time favourite Tamiyas is the Ranger. That thing's going nowhere. I've made 2 videos of that. We done like a resto mod on it, took it to the beach, gave it an awesome blast at the beach. Really love the Ford Ranger. That kind of was that swayed me as well to get rid of the Hilux. They're 2 different cars, you know, they're not the same, but the Ranger is more my thing than the Hilux. The Hilux, to look at engineering wise, awesome. The Ranger, just a good fun classic RC of the 70s and 80s. More stuff to come from the Ranger. Willys Jeep, original Willys, Wild Willy. This was the long wheel base version of it. Then on the short wheels, which was short wheel base was the earlier one. This was the long wheel base, still an original 80s one. Kept it. Done a few. The diff was a bit knackered on. There was a few issues with the gearbox, so I fixed that and I passed that on. I think I got, guessing here, I think it was about £200 I got for that one. Now there's a bit of a story for this fighting buggy. Brand new build, as well, re-release build of the fighting buggy, really well built as well. Came boxed with a spare shell in the box, and it also had a ball diff in it, the original Tamiya ball diff, which are rare as well, really rare. When I listed this one, I got a message from the original guy that bought it, and he actually bought it from Japan before it was released in the UK. So a nice backstory to that. He bought it in Japan, he bought the ball diff in Japan, he brought it back to the UK, he built it, and then I think he sold it to the guy. I bought all the stuff off. Yeah, I like stories like that. So that had come all the way from Japan, and I got a good price for that. Not just because of the backstory, but I got £315, which I think was a good value considering it's got that Tamiya ball diff in, which they're expensive if you can find them. Something I didn't show on this video when I was unboxing it, I left it to the side and I forgot to talk about it. And it's the Rough Rider. So there was a really nice original Rough Rider that had a load of metal, a load of alloy upgrades, alloy wheels, alloy bumpers. Really nice Rough Rider. I didn't run that. I done a video of that in the garden, another kind of retro look at this RC video, and I moved that and I got a really good price for that. I got £375 for that, but the bumpers and the wheels, they're like about £150 to buy them, so it had some decent upgrades. Again, it was a new build, really good condition, and it was original, so I think although I got a good price for it, I think it was a good price for whoever bought it as well. Now in the collection were two Scorchers, both original, two original Sand Scorchers, the yellow one and the blue one. Sold the yellow and red one for, I think I sold it for about £200 or £230, and then I kept the like the box art one. So I kept the box art one because I want to planning to do in the summer a world's fastest Scorcher video again. I'd done that as one of the first videos I'd done on my channel that actually done quite well, and probably helped the channel sort of build a little bit in the earlier days. I want to revisit that because I know that the fastest at the moment is about 40 mile an hour. I think I got 38, and I held that fastest one for quite a while, so I want to revisit that. So two Sand Scorchers in the collection. I sold one, and then locally another Sand Scorcher came up really cheap. I mean like really cheap, and it was a new one. It was a re but it had been completely built. When I went to look at it, I found it had alloy bumpers on it and it had a diff as well, so that is going to be much better running for a speed run, like a speed record with that diff in it. You need that diff for a bit of stability, so I bought that one. So I sold the other Scorcher. Now we'll balance out what I sold the other Scorcher for and what I bought that, and I think in the end I made probably about £75 profit off of that like transaction, so we'll stick that up there. So I haven't got them two Scorchers anymore, but I still have got a Scorcher. Original Scorpion, I tried to get this running, it was missing a pinion gear. I couldn't find the right size pinion gear. They're like a bit of a funny size, so I couldn't find the pinion gear. And in the end, again, it sat on the shelf for too long for me, so I got rid of that, and I think I got £150 for that. I got the same for the Beetle. There was two Beetles in the collection. There was one brand new in box, and there was one that had been built. I sold the one that had been built for I think £150 as well. So that was a roller, no motor or anything in that, but it was new, nice paint job, sold. Now this one, this is where I done my care in the community. I didn't really know much about this. It's a Schumacher Pro Cat. I kind of sort of just brushed it to the side because I've never been into the racing or the buggy, especially from that sort of era. I ummed and ahed about it. And a good friend of mine from the Beds Electric RC Club, Lenny, he messaged me when I put the video out of this entire collection. He messaged me and he said, "That's an awesome collection. The Schumacher Cat is the best one in there." And he said he had one back in the 80s. He used to race one, and he lost it in a lipo fire a good few years ago. So he tugged on my heartstrings. He didn't. He was just telling me the story. So I sent him it. I sent him that one. and he was made up with it, and I think he's rebuilt it. I'm pretty sure he might have got a brushless motor in it as well. That one went to Lenny. It's not going to replace something like if you've got something as nostalgic as a car you used to race with, if you lose that, you can't replace that. But it was the next best thing, and I brushed it to the side. I'd have probably stuck it on eBay and it would have got sold to someone cheap for, I don't know what they would have done with it, but it was much better going to Lenny, so he got that one off me. The next one I kind of brushed off a bit. This is a Team Associated, is it RC10B or something like that. This was actually the factory team one, so it had titanium turnbuckles, blue alloy parts and stuff on it, and I sold this for 180 in the end. Decent price. It's 90s, it's retro, but they don't sit up there as high as some of the older school stuff. Now, the two, I don't want to say holy grails of Tamiyas, because I think that's probably the Blazing Blazer. The Porsche and the Lamborghini. These two were one of the very first RC models that Tamiya made, and they fetch quite a high premium. And both of them caused me a few issues on eBay. I sold the Lamborghini to someone in Europe. I don't know where it was. I boxed it up. I put it in a box. What did I sell it for? I sold it for £375. I put it in a box, and then that box I put in another box, and then put loads of packing around it in that box. Anyway, when it arrived, it was broken, and he sent me pictures, snapped hub and the wheel hanging off and something else. And I looked at it, and I'm a pretty good seller. If someone's got an issue, I'm quite happy to refund them, or we'll discuss we'll discuss what to do. I just got a bit fishy about this one because the snapped hub, it was in a box within a box, so to have a snapped hub but not have any damage on the box is a bit suspicious. So I replied to him diplomatically. I said, that's a shame. If you I can't remember what I said. I'll contact the courier. I need you to send me pictures of the box. I need you to send me pictures of this, to put stuff in place to then put a claim in. Now, if you're ever selling anything and someone says it's damaged, always ask for pictures of the box, pictures of the packing, and any other pictures they've got. Because if they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, half the time they won't be able to provide that. And in this instance, again, I don't want to say that I was having the wool pulled over my eyes. In this instance, I got a reply back saying it's fine. I found one locally, a new hub. And it's only cost me like €10, so don't worry about it. So yeah, that was a bit of hassle. Although the Porsche gave me even more, well, it didn't really give me too much hassle, but it did piss me off a little bit. So I sold the Porsche, and I got loads of people offering me money for it, and in the end I sold it for £450. Now these do command quite a high price. This one was incomplete, it didn't have any electronics, but it was in decent condition. It was old, it had all the glass with it. It had the original decals with it and stuff like that, and the instructions as well. The instruction manual was worth probably like about £50. So I sold this to someone in the UK who sells, I don't want to put their name up or anything like that, but they sell lots of vintage Tamiya parts or retro Tamiya parts on eBay. Packed it up well, put it in a box, sent it off, and when he received it, he wasn't happy with it because there was bits on there that he didn't realise were missing. There was a bit of glass, like one of the window glasses was missing, which it wasn't. I think he found it in the pack in the end, or said it was missing, and I don't believe it was missing, and some other bits and pieces. So we came to an arrangement, and I refunded him £50 for that. So I actually only got £400 for it, take the fees off, take postage off and stuff like that. The following day, not even like a week or two later, the following day I saw listed on eBay the Porsche I'd sold this guy. He was selling it for £650. At the end of the day, I don't care. If I sell something to someone for £300 and the following day they sell it for £600, I don't care, it's theirs. It doesn't make any difference to me. I've got what I wanted for it. What really annoyed me was I sold this to this guy for £450. He then complained about it and didn't make me, but kind of forced my hand to refund him some or compensate him. So I gave him £50 back. And then he lists it for £650. I don't know what it sold for because the listing then disappeared. It said the sellers removed it because there was an error or something, but it never went back. So he must have had an offer via eBay and sold it out of eBay. So out of this whole collection, that one sale really did piss me off. Anyway, so I think that's everything, and that works out at from what, just over £5,000 for all the stuff I sold. So I bought it for 3,400, sold it for 5,000. Pretty good flip. I've still got the Tamiya Ranger and the Scorcher that we spoke about, like the one with the diff. I've got the Turbo Scorpion. I've got a HPI touring car that was in there as well. I've kept that. I've got the WR8 from HPI and the body shell. I've got the Zaxby Capri. I think I've got some of the spares and bits and pieces that come with it. So kind of totaled up in my head, I've probably got about £1,300 worth of stuff. So add that to the total of all the stuff I've added up there. That's around £6,500, which is about $9,000. That is my $9,000 collection. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I need to go and get a coffee now because I've been talking. My camera says 35 minutes. Hopefully this video isn't that long because some of you will be asleep by now. I hope that gave you a bit more insight into the collection, how I got it. Like I said, I could do a whole video on the story behind collecting it. That was a pretty cool story because there's some other stuff in there that I'm not going to say on here from what I found in some of the boxes.
Hold up, wait a minute.
It's not for this platform, maybe another day. Anyway, cheers for watching. Remember, there's that little red button that says subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to press it, but I never ask people to subscribe. It's up to you if you enjoy this content, but on this video, because I've been talking so long, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
The game plan is you go in there, hit them with some good shit, don't get hit, and come home with a pocket full of cash.